Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. Coming up this week on the Buffalo Stampede television show, we talk a lot of football. Colorado coming off its final home game of the season, winning 20-17 over Washington. Coach Gary Barnett, sideline reporter Andy Lindahl. We also talk with head coach Carl Durrell and John Bowman, the tight end from the reunion weekend, who had a couple of enormous plays during the championship run. We're going to chat with him. And also women's basketball undefeated right now. Frida Foreman joins us as well. All this week in the Buffalo Stampede.
Stanley's going to take it to the house.
Here is why he's one of the best linebackers in America. And there he goes! Touchdown! Right between the eyes from downtown.
Attaboy Lolo!
It's a winner for the Buffs.
Ball is right in front. A couple of shot fakes to Chief Perry.
Out there under center, and there's a bobbled snap. It's loose, and it's picked up. It's picked up, and Colorado's running in another direction. Running at the 50, on his way. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Jack Lamb on a bobbled snap, and goal to go from the 3. The Notre Dame transfer picked it up and ran it all the way back to the south end zone.
A phenomenal defensive play on a bobbled snap and a long touchdown by linebacker Jack Lamb. The Buffaloes go on for a 20-17 victory over the Washington Huskies on Senior Day here at Folsom Field. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Buffalo Stampede. Coach Gary Barnett, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Is that what you called a grinded-out victory for the Buffaloes?
That was a grinded-out victory. And, what was cool, I think, was for Jack Lamb, who, made a change, left Notre Dame, came here. He's gone through 10 games now, and he's played a little bit. Starting to play more, but to have a big play like that in this final game here, or possibly his final game here, so cool to see him run it down there. And he could take off and he could go. Now, we ought to play him a running back a little bit, but, just the whole defense. I think we said in the keys to victory that we needed to create some turnovers, and that's just what we did. Quarterback threw us 2, they fumbled 2. You get 4 turnovers, you should win. You should win every game, even though our offense struggled throughout the game. Early on had a nice drive, but then really struggled putting anything together after that.
Until you got late in the game, and then they had a long 80-yard drive. Buffs hadn't forced many turnovers this year. They were down near the bottom of the conference. They forced 4 here today. Now, somebody may hear you and say, but Coach Barnett said the Buffaloes gave up 420-some yards of offense, and that was a good performance. What you're talking about is making key plays in key situations.
Exactly, right? Getting turnovers. And, they did have one big play on us, 58-yarder, that brought it 20-17, and got everybody nervous again, but we slipped on that. But every other play, for the most part, we kept the ball in front of us. Yeah. We made them go the whole distance, and that's what you want to do as a defense, make them go the whole distance. And they proved to us that they couldn't do it. They only did it one time. So that's the kind of game you need to have as a defense, especially when it's been banged up as much as ours.
You think of that old adage you hear all the time, bending not breaking. That was the epitome of what the Buffs did defensively in this ball game. On Senior Day, I always like to have those guys that walk on this field for the last time. I mean, a lot of tears as you saw them walk off the field. Carson Wells was phenomenal in this game. In his final game in a Buff uniform at home, he has 9 tackles, a couple of sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, a pass breakup, a couple of quarterback hits. He was everywhere in this game.
Well, and Carson has really come on the last couple of years. He was a guy that played, but he didn't have a lot of productivity until these last 2 years. And now he led the Pac-12 in tackles for a loss last year, or the country. He was one of the upper echelon guys, and this year he's had the same kind of season. And, we'd all love to have seen Nate Landman play his last home game here, but it just wasn't to be. But Carson sort of played in his place. He sort of played for him and with him and through him, and it was cool to see. What I always thought, Mark, is I wonder if he ought to do Senior Day on the first game of the year, right. And let them know that the
end is near.
The end is near, and see how they play. So I don't know, but it was a great victory for the seniors, that's for sure.
Yeah, without question. Offensively, the struggles, it was kind of second first, same as the first, that it kind of raised its ugly head again. We couldn't find any traction on offense. Now, they made some key plays when they had to again, but boy, it was a struggle.
It was a struggle, and it's been a struggle all year, and we've been there for all of it. But that's something that probably isn't going to get fixed until the off season, until next fall. And my guess is we're going to see the same thing next week and just going to have to find a way to win. And that's who these guys have been. We haven't gone out and really pounded anybody. We've hung on and found victories here. Not enough of them, but we found some.
But the Buffaloes at home. And by the way, early this week I found out that Colorado was number 2 in the Pac-12 this season in attendance. That home crowd of Buff Nation has been rewarded. Colorado ends up going 4-2 here at Folsom Field. That's the coach Gary Barnett. Coming up next here on the Buffalo Stampede, our sideline reporter Andy Lindahl is going to join us.
Lewis's snap, turns, play action, boots out to his right. Running to the corner, turns the corner, dives, got the pylon! Touchdown! Touchdown, Colorado! Brandon Lewis rolled out to his right, tucked it, and turned on the afterburners.
Well, the one thing we've learned about Brandon Lewis this season, as he grows up as a quarterback, he's got the ability to run. And that certainly was a phenomenal play. In fact, it's right in front of us, that corner of the end zone. He was able to get down there and touch the pylon. He had one earlier that got called back because he had stepped out of bounds, but that was a wonderful play by the young quarterback for the Buffaloes as they win 20-17 and knock off the Washington Huskies on Senior Day here at Folsom Field. Sideline reporter Andy Lindahl, you had a pretty good view of that, didn't you?
I did, and you know what? What's fun to see from the sidelines is you see the maturity, the maturing process of some of these guys. Brandon Lewis showed great patience. I think he forces the ball out of bounds, maybe makes, for lack of a better term, a possibly spastic decision on that one a little bit earlier in the year. Instead, he put his foot in the ground, knew he could get to the corner, got outside, and then made a definitive dive to get to the pylon. And I really just think you see some of the growth that he's had this year. And again, the offense, it wasn't pretty, but that drive shows you they got it when they need it, and you'll take it when you're trying to build a program like that.
Take us now. We're up in the broadcast booth. Coach and I are, way up top there. You can't get a sense of things. You're down here in the sideline. As tough as that game was, and back and forth, and kind of the ebbing and flowing, take us to the sideline. What were you seeing down here from this group?
Well, the defense in particular really did a great job of trying to keep everybody in the game. I had mentioned at one time that Quinn Perry, during a timeout after the big turnover, went out and he said, "Let's go." You could see him, "Let's go, guys." He was in the middle. I thought it was Brandon Lewis showing me emotion that I hadn't seen. And then, when you get in closer, you realize, it's Quinn Perry firing everybody up. Now, it wasn't a negative. I mean, there was a lot of shoulder slapping and whatever, but he was getting in some folks' faces, and he was really, really emotional. I think the Buffs probably need a guy offensively to play that role that Quinn did today. They went out there, look, they got it done. It was an even game, Mark. I think you could feel it up there. Yeah. Nobody ever got down because they were in it the entire time. Now, there was a lot of frustration. I thought you put it well at one point in the broadcast. You could feel the Buff fan frustration when they had to settle for the 3 points when they got it, turned the ball over inside the 5 there, at least Washington did, and they only got a field goal out of it. But the Buffs stayed with it. And you know what? We haven't seen them stay with it as regularly, I think, as we'd like to this year.
I had Gary talk about this in the first segment. You were down here watching him at field level. Carson Wells, I thought, was phenomenal. I mean, as good as he's played the last 2 years of his career, today was one of those days. When he's laying, on the couch when he's 45 years old, he can think back to this game and go, you know what? I gave everything I had on my senior day.
See, and it's fun. You and I are on the same brainwave, and that's bad for you.
Yeah.
As you were doing the segment with Coach, and we'll do a little inside baseball here, as you like to put it, I always wait for you to do this segment second. Well, this goalpost right over here, Carson Wells right there was sitting right by the goalpost, staring at the direction towards the student section in the famous Colorado. And for a penny for your thoughts, man. I could just tell he just wanted to take it in one more time, all by himself. And as you said, that moment on the couch, I think, was captured in long term with what he did right there. And you and I have done a lot of games together. I've never had a young man get so emotional about something like he did right there. Like, normally guys will tell you it hits him later. Yeah. It hit him the minute the whistle blew.
Well, when this thing was over, Andy grabbed Carson Wells in the field, and you could hear him choking out. But I think that's the one thing a lot of times we don't always fully appreciate. These young men come in here, they play here for 4 and 5 years. They come out here in the blood, the sweat, the tears, they leave out here. And when they walk off the last time, and football's not a game where you're going to go play in the City League someplace. When you're done playing, you're done playing. He'll have a chance at the next level, but there's a finality to it. Nice win for Colorado. They got a big game now next week, and obviously going to be a very steep hill to climb with Utah out there. But walking off here today, watching what this team has done, Oregon State, this one here today, the way this unit kind of grounded out and won as a team. That says something about what Carl's trying to build here.
Yeah, and I realize there's a lot of frustration with all the football in Colorado right now, every level when it comes to college and pro. But you know what? Since the bye, this team has fought. This is a young team. They did not quit on Carl. I think it's a testament to everybody that's been a part of this program.
Yeah, without question. Carl Durrell and the Buffaloes get the victory. Hard-fought victory. 20-17 was the final. That's our sideline reporter, Andy Lindahl. Coming up next, we'll talk with the head coach, Carl Durrell, after the Buffs knock off the Huskies.
4th and 5 for the 22. Shotgun snap, Morris drops. Carson Wells hit as he throws. Incomplete. Oh, what a play. A blitz off the defensive left side. And Carson Wells got shot out of a cannon. And as the ball came out, Wells was right there. It's a turnover on downs. And with 1:16 to play, Colorado takes over possession, leading 20-17.
That's defense right there. Defense wins championships. Come on.
Well, we've been bragging about Carson Wells. There's the last play of his college career on this field as he forced that quarterback to throw the incompletion. Buffs seal the victory 20-17. Afterward, as you can imagine, the head coach Carl Durrell very happy with this football team. What do you want to say about that one, man? That was a gut check, hard-fought, intestinal fortitude kind of win by your team today.
It was, it was a challenge. That was a really good defense, and we knew that they were, and we didn't have a lot of production, but I think we got the production that we needed when we needed it. Obviously, Jack Lamb had that big turnover early in the first half, gave us 7 points. We also kicked a field goal, but I think in the second half we needed a 90-yard drive to really take the lead and take a lot of the clock off in our offense. Found a way to have some success for that drive, get us 7 points, and that gave us a little bit of a cushion.
Carl, you and I have talked so many times this year about your defense, and you guys would play well, but you weren't forcing the turnovers. You ended up getting 4 today, and that was obviously huge in this win.
It was huge, obviously big time, because I can't tell you, when we can get chances with the football, and that gives us a chance to put some points on the board, we're able to do that. And, like I said, it was tough on the offense. And I think even defensively, I look at the stats, it looks like it wasn't a great performance on their part, but they got some critical turnovers when we needed them to give ourselves a chance to win the game, and we finished it with doing it.
When you got a senior day like this, you had 14 guys walk out there, but 5 of them were actual seniors. The others were juniors that got their degrees. You love to see those guys play well. Mustafa Johnson played well today. Terrence Lang had a big play out there. But Carson Wells, on the final game he's ever going to play here, that's a storybook kind of game for him.
Definitely. His presence was felt, for the whole game. He was making plays from start to finish. I'm excited about him and his future. I think he's a really good football player, and I'm glad that he was able to play the type of game that he'll remember the rest of his life.
Without question. The way this team kind of gutted this thing out. Go back to the Oregon State game, what you guys did with there. That's the kind of mentality you're trying to build, aren't you? Where even though things maybe aren't going your way, you still find a way to win.
That's the bottom line. Sometimes football is not pretty. It's not perfectly executed. It's taking advantage of situations when you can. Offensively, I felt we did that a little bit today. We still left a lot of football out there. And the same thing on defense. There was a lot of third down conversions that they made, but when we needed to make plays, both sides of the ball did pick up and make those plays. Great turnovers for the defense. And I think offensively, we needed that 90-yard drive to get a good 7-point lead, and we're able to do that.
Well, I know everybody's out there concerned about one of your younger guys. Anything you know about Brendan Rice and that shot he took the knee?
He's okay. He kind of hurt his lower leg. We think he'll be fine. He's got a chance to play next week. He just didn't feel comfortable playing the rest of the game today.
All right. Congratulations on a win. Now let's go get one in Salt Lake City next week.
Thank you.
There's a happy coach, Carl Durrell. The Buffs win 20-17. This weekend, by the way, was also a reunion weekend. 1961, 71, 89, 90, and 2001. All those guys came back. In fact, they had a great event on Friday night. We caught up with the tight end for the title team, John Bowman. We're having an alumni event here. Tight end for the 1990 National Championship team. One of the guys here. What's it like coming back and seeing all your former teammates?
It's great. It's great. I mean, some of these guys I haven't seen for 30 years.
Right.
They look a little different, but a lot of them look real good. They look real good.
Darian Hagan told me the other day, I said, what's that going to be like? He said, it's not like time really passes other than the fact everyone's grayer and got bigger bellies.
Exactly. A lot grayer.
Yeah. Bring us up to date. Where are you at now? Vegas? Is that what I understand?
Live in Las Vegas. Have 5 kids.
All right.
And just living the dream.
Love it. Love it. What do you think about that 1990 season? Obviously, such a big part of Colorado lore.
Yeah.
We always talk about it. We always refer to it. What do you think about it?
I think it's the best season we've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome. To win the national championship
Yeah.
team, I mean, that doesn't come around a lot. I mean, it was a big deal.
Now, you were involved in a couple of moments during that season, if I recall, that were pretty pivotal.
Yeah.
Buffs could have been 1 and 2, not for a big catch you had against Stanford, right?
Yeah. I remember watching that replay of that, and the announcer on TV said, "That's not the guy you would go to." But it all worked out.
Yeah.
We won that ball game. And then the other one was in the Missouri game, the fifth down.
The field was slick.
You know what?
Make the catch, should have walked in, right?
Should have had a touchdown, but it didn't happen. The turf was something else that day, and it all worked out though.
It worked out just fine.
It did.
Even if it took 5
It
downs,
did.
right? Without
Exactly.
question.
We'll take it.
Yeah, when you guys get together, the stories get bigger and bolder, don't they?
Yeah. They do. They do. It's good to see some of these guys. I keep in touch with maybe 3 or 4 guys that I played with, Beekert and Garton, and we have our own little group. They call us the Poachers because we like to hunt a lot back then.
Love it.
Oh,
Love
yeah. It was fun. It was fun.
Outstanding. What made that group so special?
You know what? We had a bond, and we all came together after Sal passed away. I mean, the group, you had people from all walks of life, and everybody just came together. We had one common goal, and we accomplished it.
You know, you think, though, after 89, you guys could have gone one of either way. You're very talented, but that group could have kind of fallen apart.
Oh, yeah.
What was Mac's role in all of that, keeping you guys together?
You know what? He just kept it real. I mean, he was a great motivator, and everybody had their role. And if you played your role, it worked. If you didn't, it didn't work, and everybody played their role.
The way that season started, though, mentioned you guys were very close to being 1 and 2. Were you thinking, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, we started 1-1-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was scary. It could have gone south real fast.
But it didn't.
No.
And now right over there, it says 1990 national champions, and forever the Buffs will be champions. Hey, great catching up with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, on a weekend when the Buffs get a hard-fought victory and a reunion team, we talk with John Bowman from the title team. Coming up next, after the Buffs' 20-17 victory here in the Stampede, we're going to talk women's basketball.
Evan Batty, he's been phenomenal for the Buffaloes when he's been on the floor. With the rebound. Walker, an open runway.
Well, what was my key?
Salmon, nice floater. What a good looking freshman.
What are some highlights for the Colorado men's basketball victory as they knock off the Brown Bears in the final game of the Paradise Jam down in the Virgin Islands? Not quite the tournament they wanted. They finished up 2-1 of that tournament, got beat in the opening game, and had to come through the consolation bracket. They return home to take on Stanford now this weekend. Back at the Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Now we're talking women's basketball. The Buffs undefeated. Frida Foreman joining us. They knocked off Marquette on Friday, and then on Monday night had a lopsided 33-point victory as they took care of Stanford, the Bulldogs. Let's jump back to Friday night first, okay? That was a pretty quality opponent you guys faced on Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. That's a really good team, tournament team every year almost. I think it was a really big win for us, just like get our confidence. And it was also fun for me because my national team teammate, she played there, so
nice.
It was also nice to get that on her. You know?
Got bragging rights now?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the one thing that impressed me, and I had a chance to do the game on Friday and this one on Monday, this team's a good defensive team. I mean, what's interesting about you guys, there's length, there's intensity. This team's got a chance to be special defensively, doesn't it?
I really think so. I think our defense is something that, Coach T obviously is the one who leads us there, and he does a really good job of just getting on us on every detail. So we're really keeping each other accountable on that. And then we got some new players like Kendall and Tamia, small, quick players, and we got some long players. So I think just all around, we can really do great things on defense.
Well, the better you play defensively, the less you got to hear from Coach T, right? Then
exactly. That really helps.
Without question. Now, how about this team offensively? How do you feel with this? I mean, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of interchangeable parts in the squad. You feel good about this team offensively?
Yeah, I think the more we're going to play, the more we're going to see that it's going to be easier for us just to utilize everyone. We have so many weapons. We have really great post players, also with the addition of Quay.
Yeah.
And we have really good guards, obviously, and we just have good versatility. So to be able to use all of us at all those positions really going to pay
Buffaloes
off.
get a nice 16-point victory over Marquette last Friday and then have a short turnaround to a Monday ball game. After the 33-point victory over the Bulldogs of Sanford on Monday night, we heard from head coach J.R. Payne.
Awesome. I love these kind of games. I mean, obviously we love to win, but my favorite games are when everyone gets to play, everyone contributes. And I love that every single person played and there was no drop off. You know, they just came in, gave great effort. We continued to execute. We talked, we rebounded. Forcing 27 turnovers is fantastic. We would love to be able to do that every night. But just overall team victory and really proud of how we played tonight. We kind of upped the tenacity of our defense. We were playing longer and contesting things, and that certainly helped.
Well, there's the head coach, J.R. Payne, after the victory on Monday night, 33 points. They kind of took the drama out of this one early, Freda. There wasn't much to talk about in the second half. You guys were so far ahead.
Yeah, the second half was really great. We just came out and we did exactly what we wanted to do from the start. We just maybe delayed it to the second half a little too long, but I think that we did really good.
Sanford came out and they were playing zone for a good portion of this ball game. You guys made some adjustments the second half. It seemed to kind of find the answers to that zone defense, didn't you?
Yeah, we knew they were going to play zone, so it wasn't any surprise. I think also second half we turned up our defense, we got some stops, and that just creates offense for us. It creates confidence, and you know, we also made some shots, which were really great.
Isn't it great when you have a ball game like this, the coach can go deep into the bench. Everybody gets a chance to taste game action. There's value in that, isn't there?
Yeah, there's very great value in that. And that's also something we know when we play an opponent where we know we can come out and get a good lead. That's really good because then we can get everyone in, and that means a lot to our team.
Have you always been a shooter?
I haven't, but I mean, now I am. But I'll do anything they want. I don't care.
But I mean, you seem really willing to take the shot, and you're very good at it. You missed the first two in this ball game, but that shot has come. So where does that come from? If you weren't a shooter before, where does it come from?
I mean, I've always been a great shooter. I think just like coming to college, you kind of they have to fit you in, and and I was a great shooter when I got here. I just didn't really know.
Okay.
So now I know. I just have to, keep shooting.
You know, they always say like defensive backs in football, when you get beat, you got to have to quickly forget about that. Same thing with a shooter, right? You miss one or two, you can't be thinking about that.
No, I'm really working on that short-term memory, just flesh it out and just next shot.
This is a crazy stretch for the Buffaloes. They've got a span of 4 games over 7 days. That's physically taxing, yes, but the mental gymnastics are going to be tough for you guys. You got to digest a scouting report very quickly moving through this stretch, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And we really have to dial in for every game. We can't just let anything slip away just because we're tired. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, you're young. You don't get tired, right? When you're old like me, they get tired, but not when you're young.
Right.
Hey, congratulations.
Right. Thank you.
All right, Freda Foreman, the Buffaloes. They're rolling right now, undefeated on the campaign. As we put a wrap this week in the Buffalo Stampede, I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.